I hate using clickbait to bring you here. Shh, the secret to more meaningful photos, or stop taking unforgettable photos. It all promises something. But I don't like preying on your fears, even if that's what the algorithm wants. What I do like is helping you in your photography journey. So, do you want to know the real secret to meaningful photos and how to stop taking unforgettable photos? It's actually quite simple. You just need to shoot with purpose. Most people think photography is just about capturing what something looks like, but photos are only meaningful if they communicate something. Great photos translate how a moment felt. I'm Brenda Bergreen, and today I'm going to help you learn how to shoot photos that translate and inspire. The good news is that it's not about having the perfect gear or the perfect light. It's not even about memorizing 1,000 composition techniques. It's actually simple, and anyone can do it at any skill level. But it may not be easy. In fact, this is something I wish I had known sooner. I remember being somewhere beautiful and feeling incapable of capturing it. I'd take a photo and it just wouldn't do the place justice. I'd turn to Mark and I'd ask him, what am I missing? But since things came so naturally to him at that time, he didn't really know how to help me yet. What we've learned over time is that the reason capturing a photo never does a place justice is that it needs to go beyond the visual and actually translate what it felt like to be there. You want people to see your photos and not just say, wow, pretty, but say, wow, I feel like I was there with you. Recently, we texted some images from a trip to some family and we got that response, and it made me feel so proud that we had nailed the translation. So here's a quick outline of what we're going to talk about so you know what's coming. I'm going to talk through what I mean by translation. Then I'll discuss why most photos fail. And finally, I'll help you bring more awareness to your photos. I'll even give you a simple and practical framework that you can apply immediately. So part one, translation. Before we get to the practical steps, we need to talk a little bit more about what I mean by translation. Photography is how we translate our experience so that someone else can feel it. I like the word translation because it goes a step beyond communication. If someone is speaking a different language, you need it to be translated so that you can understand. But let's be real, sometimes someone is speaking the same language, but we still can't understand what they mean. Communication sometimes isn't enough. Sometimes words need to be translated in a way that we fully understand the meaning, not just the language. It's the same with photography. We need to go beyond showing what something looked like and communicate the feeling and the mood and the energy. The viewers weren't there, so the photo has to carry the experience for them. Or sometimes the viewers were there, and then the photo has to capture the experience for them and remind them how it felt. Be sure to check out the previous video in this photography value series where we dive deeper into this idea of experience. We've shot weddings for many years, and they are chaotic, emotional, meaningful events filled with joy, fear, anticipation, and elation. Our goal is always to capture the experience so that our couple can remember how much fun they had. When someone cries while watching a slideshow of the best photos, that's a good sign. I know our own wedding day was one of the most fun days of my life, and our own photos didn't make me feel anything. They didn't do it justice. They were just snapshots of people, not many stories, not translating a memory into a photograph. We want not just, oh wow, look how pretty that bride is, but wow, look how excited and in love she is. And in order to capture something beyond how she looks, I have to let myself feel what she is feeling and connect more deeply to the moment. So let's talk about why most photos fail. There are bad photos, sure. Pet peeves we all have about why some photos just suck. In fact, I'm thinking of having Mark do a video on all the bad photo mistakes that he hates, so let me know in the comments if you'd enjoy that. But moving beyond cropping and framing amateur mistakes, most photos are technically fine. Cool, you cropped well, you used a composition rule and your scene was pretty, your exposure is balanced and the colors are nice, but it's emotionally empty. I don't feel anything when I look at it. These are forgettable photos. Before we talk about what to do to start shooting unforgettable photos, let's talk about what's making so many of them forgettable. If you don't feel anything while taking the photo, the viewer probably won't either. So if you're shooting too fast instead of observing or letting the camera decide, well, I already forgot. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, your lack of presence and awareness. And let's be real, I still fall into these traps too. Sometimes I'm rushing and reacting and panicking, trying to get the shot. I'm clicking, hoping to get lucky. It's like when I'm snorkeling and trying to capture the fish. I see a pretty fish, I dive down, I try to capture it, so I shoot before I run out of air, and the composition sucks. So many bad snorkeling photos. I do much better if instead I dive at it down without the camera, immerse myself in the scene, see what's what, find something worth shooting, and then I go back again with a plan of attack. I know what I want to shoot before I dive down, and I'm much better. The lesson is don't hold your breath. Take a break before rushing the shot, unless you're underwater. I guess that's not the lesson. The only thing harder than underwater photography for me is surf photography. I mean, I don't even do any surf photography, but I was trying to capture some cool photos of boogie boarding, and it gave me mad respects for the surf photographers out there. I mean, I was just trying to shoot something before the wave took me out and flipped me over. I was shooting too fast, reacting instead of observing, and trying to let the camera do the work. Any good photos that I got were pure luck, because there were plenty of bad ones. I mean, the good news, I guess, is that I did feel something. I was literally immersed in the moment. And so when I did get lucky, the photos do translate, but I'd rather not teach you to rely on luck. So let's step back on dry land and talk about how to translate, which brings us to part 3, awareness. Better photos begin with awareness. It has nothing to do with settings or lenses. Awareness is about noticing what's actually happening before you shoot. Awareness is about feeling something first and then picking up the camera to respond. Don't even take your camera out of the bag until you feel something. Inspired, disgusted, annoyed, I don't care what your inspiration is, but if you want your photos to have meaning, then you have to have something to say, something you're trying to translate. You have to have intention. Remember from the first video of the series, every shot begins with purpose? For me, as you learned from the second photography values video, it's beauty. It's experiencing the beauty of this amazing world and trying to share that with others so that maybe my photos can remind someone of how amazing their now deceased grandma was, or how they once loved their spouse with reckless abandon, or how the world is wild and rugged and untamable. I mean, take my grandma. She was my hero. She was stubborn and opinionated and maybe a little too judgmental, but she was strong and adventurous and loved deeper than anyone I've ever known. Her and my grandpa had this incredible partnership. They were best friends. A snapshot of her at my house would remind me of her, sure, but a photograph of her that makes me feel and remember what it was like to be in her presence, now that is priceless. That is beauty. But I digress, because maybe your best photography comes when you're feeling annoyed or angry. Fine. Weird. Depressing. I might recommend a gratitude journal, but you're the artist. Again, I'm not telling you what to feel. I'm just saying that you need to feel and notice what you're feeling so that you can translate it. So how, Brenda, how? You promised us a practical framework and you promised it would be simple. Fine, here it is. Framework. Slow down, be present, pay attention, read the light, translate the feeling. Number 1, slow down. Pause before you lift the camera. Let the moment reveal itself. Number 2, be present. Immerse yourself in the moment, not outside it. Be curious. Number 3, pay attention. Try it right now. In fact, pause the video if you need to. Take a deep breath and look around you. What do you notice? Details, distractions, elements, motion, emotions. What's happening? What's about to happen? What do you hear? What's catching your eye? Is anything moving? What are you feeling? And what is contributing to that feeling? Number 4, read the light. Light is so important, always important in photography, sorry, but it's more than just exposure. It helps set the mood. Is it soft, harsh, directional, quiet? Number 5, translate the feeling. Your camera can only record what you've already noticed. Your composition skills only matter once you know what you want to say. If you don't feel anything, don't press the shutter. Otherwise, you'll come home with a memory card full and nothing you care about. Ask me how I know. Remember those thousands and thousands of underwater photography pictures? Yeah. Quick story. My incredible and creative daughter had a writing assignment for her class in which she wrote the most amazing description of our favorite coffee shop. It was magical and poetic, filled with passion and analogies. It really translated the experience for me with words. It made me remember why I love that place, and it made me want to go there again. So the next time I was there, Mark and I sometimes go for creative sessions, I looked around to try to identify what makes the place so great. And I noticed the lighting and how it sets the mood, the textures of the walls, the tables, the chairs, the details of the wood, the smells of the coffee, the sounds of the people. I imagined how I might photograph it to try to translate that experience. I didn't have my camera with me, so I can't show you, but practicing that awareness framework will help you see your favorite place in a whole new way. Try it and let me know how it goes in the comments. Here's the thing. You can't translate a moment you've never truly experienced. The more immersed you are in the moment, the more honest that translation will be. Rushing will lead to a shallow translation, whereas presence equals depth. That's why the wedding photos I shoot are always better when the client hires me for the whole day. This isn't a pricing strategy, it's a creative one. The more time I'm with my clients, the more I get to know them, the better I can tell their story. It's also why we don't put a tight timeline on family portraits. In fact, we don't shoot a lot of family portraits because they're hard. It's so hard to meet expectations of a brilliant family photo when those sessions are always so rushed and chaotic. I can only do a good job if I can take the time to feel, not rush to get the shot between tantrums. And that's why we don't charge most of our commercial clients by the hour, but rather by a creative fee. We will wake up before sunrise or hike as far as we have to get the shot. It's not about the quantity of hours that we're working. It's about the quality of the photographs. What do you want your photos to say when you're not there? Remember, stop trying to capture what it looks like and instead start translating what it feels like. Photography isn't about collecting moments, it's about translating them. Slow down, be present, pay attention, read the light, and translate the feeling. And don't forget to go to one of your favorite places. Practice your awareness of how it feels and tell me about it in the comments. Then it's time to start translating, which I imagine you might want a little more how-to on. How do we actually translate the feeling into the frame? Well, make sure you're subscribed because in the next video of this photography values series, I'm going to talk about what makes a good photograph.